recently posted a video about why you should not work with State Farm, and someone inside of our Facebook group, the Claims Adjusters Success Network, said, that's great, but you might want to include some information on how to work for other carriers because all the large firms seem to push Big Red and no one seems to make it as easy to work for anyone but Big Red. Great suggestion, Eddie. Before I share the super secret way to work for other carriers, let us first understand why it's easier to work for Big Red in the first place. And I'll do my best not to offend anyone who works for State Farm in the process. So State Farm is basically McDonald's. Roll with me on this. State Farm is the biggest property and casualty insurer in the United States with more than $70 billion in total premiums. That's almost $19 billion more than Berkshire Hathaway, which owns Geico, and nearly $22 billion more than Progressive. Meanwhile, McDonald's holds a similar title as the largest fast food chain in the US with over $23 billion in annual revenue and over $216 billion in market value. Now, imagine if you had so much confidence in your kitchen abilities that you thought you could be the next Gordon Ramsay or Jamie Oliver or Bobby Flay. If you truly thought you have what it takes to reach their level, do you honestly think working minimum wage at McDonald's is the way to go? State Farm is like McDonald's in that many new adjusters say it's a great place to get your new career started, sort of like a stepping stone. But when you ask those same people why State Farm is such a great place to get started, you quickly learn two things. Number one, because someone else told them that it is. They don't personally know if it's a good place to get started because they don't know enough about the industry to make that assumption. They're just trusting in someone else's opinion, and often that someone else is a complete stranger. Number two is because they'll accept people with no prior experience or training. So State Farm and McDonald's are the most well-known names in their industry, and you don't need prior experience or training to work with either one of them. What a coincidence, right? Listen, I would imagine Gordon Ramsay would never tell you that the key to becoming a world-renowned chef is to get a job at McDonald's. Instead, he'll probably tell you that if you want to make it big, to make it your prerogative, to get the best training in the world and to work alongside of other ultra successful chefs. I think anybody with half a brain would agree. Having said that, I understand that everyone has to start from somewhere, but the purpose of this video is to highlight the fact that you don't need to start at the bottom. Where you start is entirely up to you. After over a decade in this business, I've never once heard of a successful independent adjuster moving from their normal IA work to only working State Farm claims. And the reason why is because State Farm pays less, is more difficult to work with, and stops you from being an actual business. The independent adjusting companies who have State Farm as a client will push you to work for them because they're the largest carrier in the US and they want to keep their client happy, even if it means putting you into a position that you won't particularly love. It is up to you as an independent business owner to keep yourself educated enough to make the right decision. And a great way to start that is by hitting the subscribe button. So now that we understand why I compare State Farm to McDonald's, let's address Eddie's suggestion about how to work for other carriers. Eddie, here's how you can work for other independent adjusting companies handling claims for other carriers and probably how to land a job as the head chef at one of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants. The secret is to prove to those independent adjusting companies that you have the confidence and knowledge to provide an exceptional service that will help them make more money. You see, with State Farm, all you have to do is get their silly certification. Other than that, they're already used to working with people who don't really know what they're doing. But if you want to work with better companies, you'll need to prove to them that you know how to do the work properly. And the only way you can prove that is either by showing years of experience working for other companies or through high quality training. The number one core principle at Adjuster University is to make our students as marketable as possible. We make our students marketable through specialized training. That specialized training is made so our students can effectively prove to an adjusting company that they know how to do this job properly, which is the core reason why most of the other companies want people with experience. So to Eddie's point, it can be harder to work for companies outside of Big Red, but it's only as hard as you make it. If you don't have enough confidence in yourself to make a significant investment in yourself, you won't have the same opportunities as those who do. That's like thinking someone from McDonald's will land a job as the head chef at Nobu Malibu over someone who just graduated from the Culinary Institute of America. It's just not going to happen. So if you want to work at the insurance claims version of McDonald's, go get your State Farm certification and go live your dream. But if you want to learn how to build a sustainable business working for companies other than State Farm, companies that probably pay even better, then invest in yourself. And the first investment that you can make in yourself is by hitting that subscribe button to find more of our content or to visit us over at adjusteruniversity.com. Links are in the description below.